Hello everyone, it's Rohan here, and today we're going to be making a calculator in Lua. And this is my first tutorial on my channel. So the first line of code that we're going to be writing is io.write, what operation would you like to run? And what this basically does is it asks the user what operation they would like to use. As you can see, this text right here, io.write, what this does is it writes whatever is inside these double quotes inside the parentheses. So it will write, what operation would you like to run? And this /n right here, what this does is it makes sure that the next line of code that you write will appear on a separate line below this line. Okay, so let's type our second line of code. Here is our second line of code. Okay, what this is it writes operation colon. And why I typed this line was to assign a place that the user will be typing their operator. Cause over here in the first line of code, we're basically asking the user what operation they would like to run. And in case you don't know, an operation is like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. So let me just run the program and see what comes up. Okay, so it runs what operation would you like to run, and then on a separate line, operation. So it's how we want it to. As you can see, there's a space right here that the user can type in their operator, like I wanted them to. Let's just test something out in case we didn't have this /n right here. Let's see what happens. So if we didn't have this /n right there, operation would appear on the first line right next to what operation would you like to run. And this does not look neat at all, so we definitely need that /n. It's very important. Now I will write the third line of code. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so io.read right here, what this does is it copies what the user input is, and yeah, that's pretty much what it does. So it copies, in this case, in this third line, what's happening is io.read, which is capturing the user's input, is being put into this variable result. Okay, so let's run the program again. As you can see, nothing happened because all of this is in the background and there's nothing to display in the program. We can test if this variable is functioning correctly by doing this. So on another line, we can type in print result. And what this will do is it'll print whatever is this variable result is equal to. So, and we already know that result is equal to the io.read, or whatever the user types in next to the operation, or as the operation. So let's run the program again. Okay. And what operation would you like to run? Let's just say addition. So when I press enter right now, it should print the same exact operation that I'm typing in right here. So in this case, addition. It'll type in plus. And as you can see, it worked. There's a plus right there. So let's erase this line of code right here, because we're not going to use this in our program, just using it for a test. On the next few lines of code, we're going to be typing what is called an if-then or control statement. These are they're statements that have logic in them, basically. So I'll paste them in, and there they are. Let me just enter it. Put this on another line so that it's seen when I just paste it in more clearly. And let me start explaining what these lines are. Okay, so what this is saying is if the result, or basically whatever operation the user typed in, equals nothing, then write then the program will write type in an operator. And then, as you can see, the /n right here. So that means that the next line of code will appear on a different line. So then, once that happens, it'll say type in an operator. And then on this next line, it'll say io.write operator, and it'll start these whole two lines 2 and 3 of our program all over again. And then the if-then statement ends. As you can see, there's an end right there. Okay, now we're actually going to start typing the lines of code that will deal with addition and subtraction, like the actual addition and subtraction in the calculator. So type in these 3 lines, or actually 4 lines of code in your program. What this is saying is if the result, or the whatever the user picked as their operator, is equal to a plus, so that means that the user was picking addition, they wanted to add something, then the program will write what is the first number you want to add, and then a /n, which you already know, will make the next line of code appear on the next line. So then the 14th line will assign a place for the user to type the number. Okay, now we're going to type another 3 lines of code here. Now let me explain what these 3 lines of code do. What's basically happening in this is it's storing whatever the user inputted as the number that they wanted, and then it's storing it in this variable NPO. After that, it's asking you what the second number you want to add is, and then again the same thing is happening as in lines 13 and 14 right there. Okay, so let's just run the program right now to see what happens. Take this little part out. To run this program, we have to first close this if-then statement. Otherwise, it won't. The program won't be able to run, and it'll come up with an error, as can be seen. See down here, it says end is expected at line 12. It doesn't mean at line 12, but it means that the statement started on line 12 and it needs to be closed. So we'll put an end right here to end the if-then statement, and we'll see what happens. Okay, let me just take that out. And there. What operation would you like to run? Let's use addition, because that's what we want. And then it asks, what is the first number you want to add? So let's say 34. And then the program ends, because we didn't type anything more. Okay, now that we've typed in those 3 lines, we'll type in another 3 lines. So let me just delete this end. And now what you have to do is type in these 3 lines. Okay, so it's pretty much the same thing that's happening in 13 and 14 again. Or as I should say in lines 14 and 15. As you can see, but it's only with the second number and not the first number. So I'll just repeat it again. So it's assigning a place where to type the second number, and then it's storing that inside this variable npt. These last 2 lines will be kind of together. It's a little harder to explain, but what's going to happen is it's going to write your answer is, and then what's supposed to happen on the next line, it's going to display the answer, which is NPO plus NPT. NPO is basically the first number, because remember when the user types in the first number, it's stored inside NPO. And then same thing for NPT, except the second number is stored into NPT. So then it's going to write the sum of NPO. So it's going to write that on the a line below your answer is. So let's test this little part out. So let me end it, and then let's test it out. So operation, addition. First number, let's just say 34. Second number, 21. And then, let's see, 55. And as you can see, it worked. But there's still one last thing we need to do, because this is not complete. Because when you're actually running this program in the Lua, in the actual Lua program, this is not a Lua program, this is an IDE. But when you run it in the Lua program, if you run this, it'll exit right after you display it on the screens, which basically means that you won't be able to see the answer. You won't have enough time to see the answer. So now what we have to do is we have to paste in these last two lines of code. The second to last line of code. Take this little part out. So now what we have to do is we have to paste in these last two lines of code. So what these last two lines do, well, take this little part out. Okay, so let me explain what these last two lines do. So what line 21 does is it basically points to the answer so that it's more clear, because there's all these what is your second number, what is your first number, everything on the screen. So it just makes it more clear. And then this last line of code, 22, it basically pauses the program. And we need this. This is very important, because when you run this in the actual Lua program, it'll actually pause so that you can actually see your answer. And so if we didn't have this, it would not pause, and it would just run through the program and exit by itself. But this pauses the program so that that doesn't happen. So now let's end this. We have basically created an addition calculator so far. So this calculator now will pretty much add any two numbers you want. So let's run the program. And let's type in addition, because that's what we're going to be doing. Then, 34. Then 55. And then C, as you can see, these last three lines of code. Your answer is 39, and then it asks press any key to continue. And then it ends. The program ends. Exit code means it ended. The program ended. So now we basically created an addition calculator. And to make all the other calculators, you pretty much have to do the same thing as this, except you have to change very few lines of code. For example, let me paste in subtraction. So now that I paste this in, this calculator will be able to use subtraction and addition. So it's basically the same thing, as you can see, if you want to compare and contrast them. Instead of plus right here, it's obviously a minus, because when the user wants to subtract, they'll put a minus near the operator. And then instead of asking you what you want to add, it'll ask you what you want to subtract. And then same thing for these two. Still stores in the same variables. And then on line 34, that's the difference too. Instead of NPO plus NPT, it will be NPO minus NPT. And then the rest is the same. And then let me just post addition or paste multiplication and division. Okay, and there. It's pretty much a lot like addition and subtraction. It's exactly how subtraction contrasts with addition. The same changes, except, yeah, it's pretty much the same. So now this calculator will run addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So it's pretty much a full functioning simple calculator. So we can just say we'll do multiplication. What is the first number you would like to multiply? 567. Second one, 32. And there. It works. Thanks for watching. and please subscribe.